welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode. First off, good night, good evening, and welcome back to another episode of Grade A Fantasy as I review my top plays for Week 12. FanDuel main slate as I go through defenses and special teams. So, very interesting slate. Like I said, I do like the slate. It's another one of those slates that I have a good feeling about. Plus, there's a few bye weeks here and there. Now, am I excited about how cheap defenses are this week? Not exactly. There is a limit to what I like this week when it comes to defenses. This is going to be probably the first week you're going to hear me talk about a lot of pay up spots because there's a lot of expensive defenses in good pay up spots. So let's get right into it. We're going to start with the top three. My Broncos are at a 5,100 price tag, so they're 100 over the regular max. At Las Vegas, the Broncos defense is just unbelievable right now. There's absolutely no reason why you should believe why you should have an argument of them being 5,100. The only argument you possibly could have is should they be the most expensive defense? If it was me, I think Kansas City has an argument this week to be 1, Denver 2, and then Washington 3rd because of the matchup. But it's like I said, this is fantasy. The stats that they're putting up, Denver deserves to be at 5,100. They all worth the pay up. But like I said, they're not, surprisingly, even though I started talking about them, as y'all saw on the cover, they're not my favorite defense. I will talk about Washington a bit. No Dak. Injured riddled, defense that's not going to put up any resistance on the opposite end. So that's gonna put Cooper Rush or whoever, if they decide to change, with a lack of a running game, that means more dropbacks. I like Washington as well, but like I said, even though they're priced second, I like them third. Broncos should be second, and yes, I like Kansas City. Kansas City basically is going to be teeing off against the worst team. Carolina's good at running the ball. Kansas City's great at stopping the ball. So a lot of sack opportunities to get at Bryce Young with this great Kansas City defense. Yes, they're on the road, but I don't see no issue with that. Plus, you want to put a sprinkle of salt or salt and narrative. Yes, Kansas City's probably a little myth that they finally lost that first game. Kansas City has championship pedigree. This is not the beginning of a snowball effect where they start losing. I think they come in angry, and they're going to get right back on the winning road and to be the first team to have double-digit wins. Because if they get this victory, 10-1 for KC. So I think it's a tremendous opportunity for them to tee off on Bryce Young and Carolina. I don't really see no reason why. I don't see no reason why Kansas City should not finish. Now, the way defense is, they should finish with double digits. And when I say double digits, they shouldn't just be around 10. I think they should have a floor of 13 with a chance of 17 and higher. That's what I think with the way this team is and the matchup that they have. But like I said, I love the top three options. I definitely do like the top three options. And then as we go down a little bit even more, go down another 100, the way Chicago's offense is struggling, you don't like Minnesota's defense on the road? I would love them too at 4,800. I like the Texans at home, 4,700 against Tennessee. Like I said, with the way the offense goes, and they are a blitz-heavy team against a team like Tennessee, I think you can get some pressure and nullify those with the blitzes. You can nullify some of those zone gaps that Houston likes to run. So I definitely like that Tennessee likes to run. So I definitely like Houston at home. At 4,700. If we keep going, I drop down a little bit. Like I said, New England has been playing and they've been improving a bit, but like I said, we're looking for defensive stats, and for a sure thing, I think the Dolphins at home, 4,500, is a good option. I like Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay solid. They get pressure. 4,400 against a Giants team that is now going to Danny DeVito. So, I did just say Danny DeVito, but it's I mean, it's the Giants, man. Like, why wouldn't you go? Why wouldn't you pick Tampa Bay, even though if they're on the road 4,400? It's a good matchup. They're not too expensive. They're in the mid range. I mean, they're changing quarterbacks. It's the season's pretty much over, and I think that's the first time I've ever seen a quarterback go from number one to number three. That's basically your foot is out. Your foot is out pretty much out the door. It's just not official yet. That's just crazy. So yes, Tampa Bay I like at 44, and I think that's for me. That's it for me at that range. I would like to mention Philly. If Philly could get some pressure on Stafford and maybe force a pick six out of him, like I said, I think Philly defense might be able to contain Kyron Williams a bit. So if they make the Rams one dimensional, 4,200 Philly is definitely good on the road. But after that, we're gonna drop. I personally like we're gonna just drop under the 4,000 range, and everything's from 39 and under here to a certain limit. I like Chicago. The offense is a little bit in disarray, but the defense is still performing. And they're at home. It's a division game against Minnesota, so you can never count them out there for 39 at 3,900. Seattle's a good option. I know Arizona seems to be up and down. You just don't know what Arizona you're gonna get. But Seattle, after that great win, they're coming back home and having another division rival game. So, like I said, you always gotta at least give them the option of Seattle being at home. Seattle defense at home behind the 12th man is definitely a solid option. Yes, this is not the Legion of Boom, but like I said, Arizona's no juggernaut either. And then when it also comes to pricing, that opposite side of the game too. Geno Smith hasn't been playing that great. Arizona, it's a division game. Arizona could sack Geno Smith. If you look at Arizona gets pressure on the quarterback. Look at the last few weeks: 3, 6, 1 sack, 3, 0, 2, 0, 2, 5, and 2. So they may not turn over the ball much because they don't really get that many interceptions. They haven't gotten interceptions since like early part of the season because in the last 4 or 5 weeks they haven't gotten an interception yet. But teams don't score a lot against them. They hang tough and they gain points by getting pressure on the quarterback and maybe getting a fumble recovery here and there. Good for interceptions? No. But good for pressure in Geno Smith? Yes. That's why they're option for fantasy this week. 3,600. And yes, it does sound weird even though I did just get on them. But they're an option to me if you get one more week without Mike Evans. If they're still on the emergency wide receivers and giving Rachaad White more pass attempts while Bucky takes more of the rusher load and you still get, Baker dropping back. Here's the thing. I made fun of the Giants offense. The Giants defense just 2 weeks ago led the league in sacks. Denver and somebody else just passed them. They're still in the top 5 in sacks. 3,300. At 3,300, you don't mind them having one of these games. A 4-sack game against Pittsburgh. A 5-sack game against Jalen Hurts. A 4-sack game against Joe Burrow. 7 sacks against Geno Smith. 1 against Dallas. 8 against Cleveland. 5. They've been getting pressure all year. Last 2 weeks, no. But you can easily get one of these games against. And like I said, you don't even need one of those big games like 7, 8 or whatever, or the 5. You'll be fine with Baker maybe throwing up 1 interception and maybe getting 2 to 3 sacks. Remember, the Giants are 3,300. It's something plausible. But I think if they get some of their weapons back, obviously Chris Godwin's out for the year. But if Mike Evans is in the clear, I would lay low. They would be more of a cash play because, like I said, 3,300 allows you to get more bigger stars in that case or whatever. You're not worried about GPP. You're just worried about a floor and letting all your offensive players go in the cash game or whatever, double ups and multipliers. So, but yeah, that's what I have there for the defensive rundown. Those are my top plays or top picks for week 12 on defense. I will be working on the tight ends next and wide receivers last. Like I said, there's still some injury news I'm still monitoring and some other things to come out. So once again, the wide receivers will be last. I'll be working on a tight end video tonight, and I'll probably release that tomorrow morning. And then when I get back from work tomorrow, wide receiver, or if I have time to do it, I'll drop the wide receiver video tomorrow in the afternoon. Other than that, this is Grade A Fantasy. Thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. And I'm signing off.